That's the opinion of Representative Don Bacon. He's a Republican from Nebraska who has been working with the idea of potentially extending for 2 years. But 3 years, they say, is dead on arrival. So if this is something that you want to satiate, if you want to get done, you are going to need at least some Republicans to come over. Why not start with a 1-year extension or potentially even a 2-year extension?
Well, Leader Schumer offered a 1-year extension in the context of trying to end the Trump Republican shutdown.
Yeah, that's different. I'm talking about what you have now. Let's not go back to what's done in the past and what has not been extended. If you want to get something that has actually done, you need to do something that will have bipartisanship.
You can ask me the question. You can ask me the question. I'll provide the answer.
Answer the question instead of going back.
I'll provide the answer. No. I'm providing an answer in order to provide context. Republicans have repeatedly refused to take yes for an answer. It was a very reasonable multi-year extension that was offered. It was a 1-year straight extension plus a multi-year process through a bipartisan commission to more permanently resolve the Affordable Care Act issue. So having that context is absolutely important, regardless of what you may think.
It's important context to make me realize that I don't think you want to get a deal done. I think this is something where you'd like to see the rates go higher and allow the Republicans to hang themselves with that. Is that the answer?
That's absolutely a ridiculous assertion. And really, shame on you.
3 years is not going to get passed, so what do you do?
Shame on you for saying that. Because we're fighting. It's not a partisan issue for us. In fact, the states that are most impacted as it relates to an Affordable Care Act tax credit expiration are all Republican states. We're talking about West Virginia, Wyoming, Alaska, Mississippi, right? Tennessee. Over and over and over again, we can go through the list. That's why you probably have some Republicans
who would sign on if you guys could come up with something that actually looks like a bipartisan deal.
Hakeem Jeffries, the silver-tongued sentinel of the left, perched upon his CNBC throne, weaving tales as if history were a shield against the blade of reality. You see him there, arms folded like a child guarding his last cookie, insisting on 3 years of this bloated ACA potion. As if the American people, crushed beneath the heel of inflation and the specter of shutdowns, crave this demented trilogy of democratic daydreams. He speaks of Schumer's grand gesture from the shutdown, tied to opening the government, as if we have not witnessed this theater a dozen times. The left, hands outstretched with olive branches dipped in partisan poison, demanding not compromise, but capitulation. Chuck Schumer, that eternal architect of gridlock, whispers from the Senate shadows. And Jeffries echoes it, a loyal parrot in a suit worth more than the premiums his voters will soon forfeit. But let us dismantle this facade, piece by crumbling piece, with the precision of a surgeon who knows the heart beats only for so long. First, the history lesson. Jeffries' crutch, waved like a white flag soaked in yesterday's ink. A decade of Democratic dominion over Obamacare, where premiums soared like Icarus on wax wings, deductibles devoured paychecks, and the only bipartisan agreement was mutual regret. They offered one extension in the midst of holding the government hostage. That's not an olive branch, that's a ransom note with a bow. And now, the shutdown looms again, a guillotine blade glinting under the Capitol's dome, because Schumer and his liberal legions refuse a 2-year bridge or even a 1-year lifeline. No, they demand the full feast, lest the peasants notice the emperor's new clothes are rags, ravaging the people by this credit cliff. Jeffries shames the host, attempting to summon GOP surrender. But shame on the man who would let 20 million souls dangle. Premiums spiking $700 a head just to paint Republicans as the villains in his morality play. Liberals, those self-anointed saviors, clutching their 3-year talisman, while families in flyover country ration insulin like wartime rations. Schumer pacing the Senate floor, muttering of bipartisanship as he filibusters the very air. Jeffries, humiliated not by Quick's barbs, oh no, but by the mirror of his own refusal. When the truth stings like holy water on the unholy, the party of Inclusion excluding reason. The champions of the poor pricing them into oblivion, all while Trump, from his golden perch, prepares a proposal leaner than a supermodel's lunch-targeted credits. No strings, no shutdowns. The Democrats handle this, not with the clumsiness of fools, but the arrogance of kings who forgot the mob sharpens pitchforks in the dark. A house of cards in a hurricane of public fury. Polls scream 80% approval for any extension, yet they haggle like bazaar merchants over the last fig. And Jeffries' response? A masterclass in deflection, a symphony of whataboutism played on a kazoo. So hear this, Hakeem. Hear this, Chuck. The hour grows late. Your 3-year empire crumbles, not by Republican refusal, but by the weight of your own delusions. Compromise? It died in your refusal to utter the word. The people will not wait for your perfect deal. They will rise, and when they do, it will not be with ballots, but with the roar of the betrayed. We are the storm, and you, mere raindrops scattering before the gale.